Town Square Media Station. WTUG HD2 Northport. And W265CG Tuscaloosa. Tide 100.9. And streaming on the Tide 100.9 Square Media Station. WTUG HD2 Northport. And W265CG Tuscaloosa. Tide 100.9. And streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Alabama 1st and 10 on the 12. Again, Houston. He's got a hole. He's over. Alabama touchdown.
I'm just wondering if your listeners know how good a football player you were. I can still see you playing that fullback, knocking those players out of the way. And that, I believe I could have run behind you.
Martin, I can remember when we came to summer and you playing fullback up there, and I saw you in the weight room and watched you work out in the weight room. If you were strong enough to pick up the whole weight room. I wanted to pitch it, and our running back coach didn't take the pass. Biggest mistake we ever made.
The Martin Houston Show with national championship winning fullback Martin Houston, giving you 1 hour of intense, hard-hitting analysis from an insider's perspective. It's time for the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports, Tide 100.9, and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Good morning. Welcome into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier, powered by MaX Sports. It's a beautiful hump day edition of the show. We're glad that you have chosen to make us a part of your morning routine. Go ahead and get ready to get in on the conversation as we move things on. We got a great show lined up for you. As we always do, we're broadcasting live on Tide 100.9. So if you're out there on the radio airwaves and want to get in on the conversation, give us a call at 205-342-9904, 205-342-9904. That's the Alabama One hotline. And, of course, if you're tuned in on Facebook, on the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, you're also welcome to use the hotline, or you can just post your thoughts and comments on in the chat, and we'll work that into the conversation. So whichever way you want to interact, we're here to do so with you, and glad that you are up and Adam with us. We had a great show yesterday with DC as we got some of his thoughts on the baseball announcement. Got a little more insight into Coach Vaughn on yesterday. Also, the big news with basketball as Alabama got their big man. So I guess in a way you could say both went big. One went Big Ten and one went big man in basketball and hoops. We also had a little fun time yesterday. May get X's thoughts on it as well, as we talked about the guys getting that pep talk from their favorite NFL player growing up, and asked the question, who would it be? And I don't know if you guys got to see it or not. If you didn't, go to at Martin Houston 35, and I posted some pictures of the guy who I mimicked my running style after, and found a couple pictures that kind of showed similar pictures, as that was Earl Campbell. So might get X's thoughts on that as well. And then we'll also have some more fun, kind of a series that we can dip in and out of on any day of the week, but kind of what's your favorite? We can talk about what's your favorite play of all time, or what's your favorite play of this season. We can mix it up. What's your favorite player? We may have to go by era, because some of us been around a lot longer than some of these other guys. Some of these guys think that Bryce Young first got to play quarterback at Alabama. So, but there's lots of that. And then what's your favorite game? And the what's your favorite game kind of was inspired by C.J. Watson. What's your favorite play kind of was inspired by C.J. Watson, as he sent me a video of the George Teague play in that rundown. So we can talk about that as well, and always we have like to create the avatar we can always talk about and fill in. But sometimes other stuff just keeps kicking that topic down the road. But we'll work it in as we have time. And then, of course, it's a Wednesday, so we'll definitely have the Harvest Church Christian Moment of the work week with Scotty Hollins to wrap things up as he's doing a summer through the Psalms. So we'll conclude with him. But remember that this is the day that the Lord has made, so let's rejoice and be glad in it. Take some time today to notice someone, love someone, serve someone, be the difference you want to see in the world today. Good morning, X. Glad to have you back, man.
Good morning. How are you doing this morning?
Doing well. I guess the first question is, do you have, you kind of, I don't know if Blind Squirrel knows the news before we get into it. Blind Squirrel, do you know that my daughter is gonna be she's gonna end up being a Georgia Bulldog? She took a position, grad assistant, a position, working on her master's. She is a certified athletic trainer and will be working with the Georgia Bulldogs football program. So, uh, Blind Squirrel, I guess I'm gonna have to like at least two Georgia Bulldogs now. You and my daughter. So I actually love her. So you'll be my second favorite. But anyway, X. Uh, definitely was a fun weekend this past weekend as I went over and dropped her off. Her mom and I did, and it was a lot of fun. And she's definitely getting acclimated, and they put her right into it. So she's full swing there. But actually, we were talking about that favorite player, and I don't know if you saw the thing that Fanatic did. Uh, they brought in like 45 players, I guess, that have deals with them, and then they had like their favorite players talk to them or give them a pep talk. Will Anderson's was Ray Lewis, and Aaron Rodgers was um, Bryce's, and Tom Brady was several guys, but Levis was one of Tom Brady, and he kind of encouraged him. Hey, I know it's rough on that day, but but waiting, but hey, make it all worth it. So, who would be that guy for you if you could get that pep talk from a guy or player that you grew up watching?
Well, I got to have a lot of conversations with you during my playing days, and that was always fun and awesome, just because you had been where I wanted to go. So there was that. But outside of you, with Damian Tomlinson would have been my guy. I mean, I loved watching him play. Everything that he did, man, he was amazing. Running the ball, catching the ball. He even threw the balls at times. So he probably would have been my guy to just listen to through that era. Watching him come in the league when I was about 10 and play all the way up until I was actually in the Marines. So LT definitely would have been my version, my generation's LT would have been my
Yeah,
guy.
you think about LT and Marshall Faulk. To me, those two guys are probably two guys that were dominant in their era, but they set the stage for the running backs of today, in my opinion. I mean,
Yeah.
those two guys, if you were to bring them forward into today's game, they would be like just well, they were unbelievable then, but they would definitely thrive in today's game. So that's a good choice. But for me, like I said, I hit mine. By Squirrel Sports said, if you're looking for some UGA gear, I keep hearing about a place in Athens called Red Zone. Hey, listen, when we were signing the lease X, they came out with all these buttons, UGA buttons, like go that D word. Then it had Sick'em D word, and then the one they gave me was a picture of Kirby holding a national championship trophy. I don't know if that was on purpose or not, but I brought it and gave it to my Georgia friend that I work with at Alabama One. So Jason Halpern. The irony of me giving Jason that button, Jason's son is going to Auburn, and he's a Georgia guy. So he and I are kind of like in the same boat, just different schools. But anyway, X, want to get your thoughts on the baseball coach first. You were not with us yesterday. DC kind of broke it down. I gave my thoughts, but just Alabama goes out and gets what many believe to be like the top candidate in baseball right now, at least among the top five, without a doubt. What are your thoughts on the baseball hire?
Yeah, I really thought it was going to be Coach Jackson, just because of what he's done. But looking into Rob Vaughn, that's the type of guy you had to go get if you weren't going to give it to Coach Jackson. Like what he's been able to do coming from Maryland down here, I think he's a phenomenal coach, and I think his ability to lead this team is something that's going to be really good. And keeping Coach Jackson on staff, I think is going to help that a lot. Congratulations to him. Yeah, still a relatively young guy that has a lot of years ahead of him. So maybe we can keep him around for a while and just build on the momentum that the way this year ended.
Yeah, and I think that what we talked about yesterday, and then hearing Burns, Coach Byrne, his comments in regards to the search. This really had nothing to do with Coach Jackson. Coach Jackson, what he did in the run was probably post this decision being made. He said, we looked across the country. I stayed focused on college baseball. We had a lot of interest in the job. Rob's name rose to the top time and time again. When I talked to our current team, one of the things they said is they wanted someone that cared just as much about them as a person as they baseball. It became very apparent that person was Rob Vaughn. Well, what he said right before that was Alabama vetted 27 coaches across the country. So this was, like not a rash decision. And I think one that without a doubt had already been decided long before Alabama made a deep run in the postseason, coming up just short of the Men's College World Series. So kudos to them. And what you got to love, X, and we'll go to break after this, is what you have to love is Coach Vaughn saying, oh, I'm coming here because it's the best brand of baseball. It's the SEC. And so you want a guy who wants the challenge and accepts the challenge, because he could have stayed where he was at and probably been dominant and set all types of records, which he was doing coming off of his career there. I'll let you respond to that if you want. On the other side, we need to get the break here. So hold your response there. You can respond to him and his demeanor and what he brings. But then we'll also talk about Bama hoops as well. More conversation that happened right here on the Martin Houston Show, inviting you to be a part of it. X and I are waiting on you to call us on the Alabama One hotline at 205-342-9904.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, wrecks coming in. We got a 2059 eastbound at exit 71B. That's I-359. Another one, 2059 eastbound at the Mercedes exit number 89. Wet roads, slow down, be careful. Now get $5,000 off any in-stock Titan, Armada, or Murano. Go grab a deal at Townsend Nissan. I'm Captain Ray.
It's time to get outside and play some golf. The Alabama One Aspire Foundation is hosting the second annual One Community Golf Tournament June 21st from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. at Old Colony Golf Complex. The proceeds from this tournament will be used to further financial education in West Alabama schools, as well as advocate for more affordable housing in our communities. There will be lunch provided, as well as a chance to win a hole-in-one cash prize of $25,000. Visit AlabamaOneAspireFoundation.org/golf to register. The One Community Golf Tournament, June 21st. Register today.
Next up, Straight Talk from Doug.
Ever notice that saying no offense is offensive? Like, no offense, but you're overpaying for your wireless. See? Offensive.
That's the Straight Talk talking. Get unlimited plans as low as $35 a month from Straight Talk on America's most reliable 5G network. Available at Walmart and Walmart.com. On the $35 plan, first 10 gigabytes data at high speed, then 2G speeds. Refer to the latest terms at straighttalk.com. Based on most first-place rankings, Root Metrics, second half 2022 assessments of 125 metros. Experiences vary, not an endorsement.
See America in your new Burton Campers RV. Be certain with Burton. Burton Campers at exit 231 on I-65 in Calera. Nobody sells RVs for less.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Mostly cloudy with occasional showers and thunderstorms today and tonight. The storms could be severe. The high today 84, tonight's low 69. Tomorrow mostly cloudy with scattered to numerous showers and thunderstorms. The high 85. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 71 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Keep it locked into Tide 100.9 for more of the Martin Houston Show with Martin Houston and X's and O's Sports Xavier Houston.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier on this beautiful morning. Hey, listen, we got what's your favorite on the docket today? We can do that each and every day. Today, can I say, what's kind of your favorite play from Bama? And like I said, this is one of those topics you can always throw it in. You don't even have to have me ask it. If you want to bring up, hey, man, I remember when. I remember seeing it. You're always welcome to do that. This is the Sound of Bama Sports, your show, your team. We're talking about Bama baseball, Bama hoops. Any comments, X, on Bama baseball and Coach Vaughn's, tenacity and saying, hey, I chose this Alabama job because it brought me to a great university, and also it brought me to the best brand of baseball in the country.
Excuse me. Yeah, I mean, when you're talking about a guy that was 86 and 29 his last 2 years at Maryland, first tournament championship in school history, best record in school history. You know, he's only going to be 36 this year. I mean, so he can relate to the younger players better. Man, just you can't beat that. And hey, the SEC is one of the best conferences in baseball as well. I mean, you just look at it. SEC knows how to play sports, let's put it like that. And I think he's accepting a challenge and wants to get Bama back to where he used to be.
Yeah, absolutely. So, wow. It's exciting to see what's the potential, and I love the fact that he's just an everyday dude. He said he told the story that when he met Coach Saban, he almost passed out. Said his wife laughed at him. But you don't really think about it. You know, this guy had grown up. He was a teenager when Saban started doing what he's doing, and now he's coaching beside him. We don't really think about that. He's the youngster on this Alabama coaching, staff as far as all sports concerned. So kudos to him for being excited and handling that. So it's also, speaking of transfer portal, Bama baseball got big news. Basketball got big news, but just a quick sidebar. I'm trying to verify. It seems to be true, but Oklahoma may not be as big a threat coming into the SEC as we thought. As Jordy Ball it is gonna look like she's gonna be transferring out from Oklahoma, and she's like, I think she's 45-2. She's like one of their ace pitchers. So the SEC might catch a break because she might go to her hometown school of not hometown school. She grew up an hour from Lincoln, Nebraska, originally committed there, and ended up going to Oklahoma. So man, maybe Patrick Murphy can convince her to come over here. So I guess not everybody necessarily wants to come to the SEC. But anyway, that was just a quick sidebar that I had read, and especially since we've been talking about will Alabama lose pitchers and players and things like that. Think about that. She's on a team that's won 3 in a row. She's been the ace on the last 2, and she's jumping ship. Is that NIL related?
Oh man, you never know these days. When it comes to the transfer portal and why these student athletes are leaving to go to different schools or what it is, it used to be like, oh, it's family, getting closer to home, whatever. But now it can be money. So I don't know.
I guess as you get down to it, X, you think about it, she's got 2 championships. So, and so what's next? And maybe playing close to the hometown where you dreamed of growing up playing is now a reality. You got that behind you, and it'll be interesting to see. But Alabama getting big news literally yesterday. What's your thoughts on Alabama's latest get in the recruiting world? Bama hoops.
Yeah, Grant Nelson, is the name that I've talked about the last couple of weeks. On coming and visiting, and now he's a part of Nate Oates' 2023-24 team. And I think his skill set, what he does, is a perfect fit for Alabama. He's a stretch big that can score it, rebound it, block shots. Major get because he brings that size to the middle of the court for Bama, but he can also, as I say, he can also stretch it. And will knock down some threes in your face, man. With Sears back, JQ back, Estrada, Right Sale, Pringle, Griffin. I mean, this Alabama team's deep again, and should be able to make some noise.
Yeah, and if you really think about it, man, I'm not sure this team, if Nate Oates losing Bediako, because this move doesn't happen if Bediako comes back. All right, we go to war with what we had if Bediako's back. But I'm not sure that this team didn't just get. I hinted at it a little bit yesterday, but I'm not sure this team didn't just get a lot better by Bediako staying in draft. Not. I mean, I would have been excited if Bediako was back, so I don't want to make it sound like that. Wouldn't have even thought about going out looking for a big. But I think you upgraded that position, and I think it gives Alabama so much more flexibility, even the flexibility to potentially have him and Pringle on the court at key moments at the same time.
Yeah, he allows Pringle to do what Pringle does best, and get that the smaller of the 2 bigs and be able to dominate that, but as well as on the offensive side, he creates more space for Pringle down low, which I think for his 6'9" frame, can be a bully down low.
Yeah, because if I were to ask you, do you take Bediako and Clowney or Pringle and Nelson, you might say, I might take Nelson if he's able to transition from North Dakota State to the SEC. And if that's the case, because I think, like you said, it spreads it out and gives more spacing even for the other guys as well, and more options. So, but we did point out that he's not a big assist guy yet, but maybe that's because he didn't have the other players to kick it to. As we just watched Jokic and the Denver Nuggets win, I tell people he can make all the passes, but those guys were knocking down those shots. That's why the assist total was so high. You can make the right passes, but if the guy don't knock down the shots, it really don't matter. And they were clicking on all cylinders. So maybe Alabama have a little bit of that out of Nelson, a little bit of that what we saw with the Joker in this most recent playoffs. Anything else on that before we transition?
Yeah, and one of the things we talked about earlier after Clowney and Miller declared for the draft was how is the scoring going to be impacted? And once again, I think you add a guy that he's maybe not going to get you the point total that Brandon got you, but with the total group of guys that we're bringing in, each one of those guys can average a point or two more here or there that equals out that production that we are losing.
Yeah, and it's exciting. Alabama has I think they're gonna have a really strong backcourt now with him. It looks like they may have a front court that can play with a lot of guys, and you're not bringing in a brand new guy. You're not bringing in a freshman. You're bringing in a guy that's played big boy ball, got a couple years of post high school weight room, and going to be fun to watch. Coach Nate Oates looks like he's going to land on his feet after a really, really good season last year that ended with great disappointment. Excuse me, great disappointment. And then had us even sadder at the end as we were concerned, we're going to have a big topple off the mountaintop. But it looks like Nate Oates may have did everything he needed to do in this offseason to keep this team ready to go. C.J. Watt said Nate Oates has proven to be quite the master of the portal since being at Bama. So we'll see. Maybe he can go over to Murph and see if Murph can talk Jordy Ball into coming over to Alabama from Oklahoma. So get us one more picture, and then we're on our way to the Women's College World Series. Hey, come back on the other side, X. It didn't have to be. Just think through some of your plays. What are some plays you remember, or moments even in Bama football that you like to highlight, and we'll break down. I got a couple that I could have. And I even, as we were talking, I even had a moment where I thought about, I had a neat experience that most people listening probably don't know, and it happened to be against the Georgia Bulldogs. I got to play tight end, and in a college football game, I played tight end, and got a few reps at fullback that night, but got more reps at tight end. And had a really, really good game, and it actually almost got me drafted, but it definitely got me locked in into an NFL team that really, really wanted me to come and play for them based off of that one game film. I might share that moment as something pretty cool. But hey, listen, if you got a moment you want to share, or a play you want to share, or something, please give us a call, 205-342-9904. That's the Alabama One hotline, as well as you can put your thoughts and comments on chat on our live stream. You listen to the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier, powered by MaX Sports.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, wrecks coming in. We got a 2059 eastbound at exit 71B. That's I-359. Another one, 2059 eastbound at the Mercedes exit number 89. Wet roads, slow down, be careful. Now get $5,000 off any in-stock Titan, Armada, or Murano. Go grab a deal at Townsend Nissan. I'm Captain Ray.
For over a century, local broadcasting has evolved with the needs of the community. We move past the stigmas of opinion journalism and bring the most relevant news online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
Now your ideas don't have to wait. Now they have everything they need to come to life. Dell Technologies and Intel are creating technology that loves ideas, loves expanding your business, evolving your passions. We push what technology can do, so great ideas can happen right now. Find out how to bring your ideas to life at Dell.com. Welcome to Now.
Visit Tuscaloosa. Present Movies in the Park. It all happens at Government Plaza on Saturday nights for free. This is a family-friendly free event, so be sure to bring your lawn chairs or blankets, and coolers are welcome, but no alcohol. Food trucks will be on site. All brought to you by Visit Tuscaloosa. Present Movies in the Park on Saturday, June 17th, featuring the movie Remember the Titans. For more details and full movie lineup, swipe open the free Tuscaloosa Thread app.
Welcome back to the Martin Houston Show, the sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team, on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Go visit Alabama One. Alabama1.org is where you can find out about all the great products and services we have to offer. If you're looking for great deposit rates, we have rates as high as 4.27 APY. And also we have our money market product that you can get a improved rate as well as enhancements. The more you have, the more you earn. So if you have the money market and then you add a credit card, a debit card, a loan, or whatever. So you may have some money right now and you want to bring that money over from another institution, but you want the flexibility of a money market account. Go ahead and bring that over along with maybe a loan or get a credit card, which has the best rates out there, as low as 12.99. That's Alabama One. We're a full service institution, and we love the opportunity to earn your business. So bring over those deposits, get a loan, or use our credit products as well. And while you're doing that, we'll make you a winner of Big Green Egg and or $500 gift card for getting that credit card. So lots of ways to win, lots of ways to earn, lots of ways to take care of your financial future at Alabama One. Alabama1.org. One together. What's your one? All right, X. You had time to think through what's that play or that moment?
Yeah. Do you care if I give one from as a fan and then one from like my playing days?
Well, we were talking about Alabama, but no, you're welcome to go ahead and give the one from your personal day first, though.
Okay. You remember this? It was my senior year. We were number 3 in the state, and for most people who don't know, I played defensive end on and was coached by John Copeland while you were my running backs coach. But it was Marengo Academy, and whoever won that game was going to be the number 2 seed in the playoffs and get a first round home game. And it was rainy, muddy. We were a passing team first. I think our quarterback completed 2 passes the whole night, but they were running the ball down our throat. We were up 21-14, and I got a strip on one play, got the ball back, turned around. We ended up having to punt. And then the very next play, they had the ball back. I chased the quarterback down, stripped him again, and then dove into the end zone for a touchdown to make it 28-14. We ended up winning the game, locking up a home playoff game in the playoffs. That was my personal. But as an Alabama fan, Senior year of high school. I hadn't seen Alabama beat Auburn since I was in 5th grade. And me and you went to that game right after my high school career ended, and watching Glenn Coffey break that touchdown run down the sideline directly where we were sitting in the end zone, and you just knew that it was over before it was even really over in that game. And Alabama ended up winning 36-0. And as I said, this is the first time at 17 I'd seen Alabama win since I was 10 years old.
So, but Auburn didn't beat us that many years in a row. They beat us 5 years in a row.
6.
Was it 6 or 5? Because they had to fear the thumb.
We beat them in Auburn in 2001.
We don't have to.
The next time we beat them was 2008, my senior year in high school.
So, but God, that's just hard to think back. I'm glad I don't remember those years, and I pray that I don't have to relive them at any point in the future. Yes, you could be a Tennessee fan and going, yeah, but we beat them in 2022. Yeah, but when the last time you beat them? And then you had to start counting and saying, well, my kid wasn't in school, and and this one is in college now. So, but anyway, that was a fun game. I remember going to that game and going, whew, it's finally over. CJ Watson he said, I love the George Teague strip. It's so iconic. It's hard to find a play that had that slow build from disappointment to the highest of highs. And that play was the play that Miami began to look like they're going to beat us. And that game broke the 13-year national championship drought. I just got chills typing that. So I'm sure if we were to do a poll, that would definitely be on the Mount Rushmore of all-time great plays in Alabama history. We're often asked as former players, what do y'all think about that play? I said, we thought the same thing y'all did. Oh, man, he's going to score. And then, oh, man, he's going to catch him. He caught him. He has the ball. So I said we went through the exact same emotions that, that the fans did watching that. And of course, I love to hear Teague say he was running out of fear of having to come to the sideline and face Coach Oliver. That's why he ran so fast to catch him. So that was an iconic play. Of course, it's going to be interesting to see how that play is remembered, in college football history, because it's not recorded as a play in history because there was a penalty on the play. So that's an interesting one of those anomaly type plays. So we got Chuck on the phone lines. We'll bring him in, see what his thoughts are. Chuck, you're in with Martin and Xavier on the Alabama One hotline. What's on your mind, sir?
Good morning to you. I'm chiming in what you were talking about. That's what I was calling about. Reliving that moment. See, back when I came along, see that Miami was the dominant team. I love that Miami swag during the time I was a child. When Alabama was that team, it was mediocre. I think about your guys coming out and winning that '92 team winning the national championship. And George Teague, I bet Lamar Thomas still has nightmares today about that game. He took that ball from him. And something you talking about, he said he didn't want to face Brother Oliver, your assistant.
Yeah.
And George Teague is one that we talking about ones you talking about not in the College Football Hall of Fame. And George Teague is a name I forgot to bring up. And X, I'm gonna give you is I know Father's Day is approaching. Your father had a moment too. He made those linebackers look like they were part of circus act with those flips. The guy blitz coming with a blitz caused Bob Marley's son Rohan Marley to flip, and then Michael Barrows. They were coming with a blitz, and you could see him just flipping that night. X, it was something to watch. I couldn't believe my own eyes as a senior in high school watching that game.
Yeah, it's.
Hey Chuck, do you have a Twitter?
Huh?
If you have Twitter, every so often Lamar Thomas will say something, and George Teague loves to not let him forget. So often.
So, but that's been a fun battle between those guys. Yeah, and that Miami game probably have quite. You could probably pick out like iconic plays in that from that one, you know, that one game. And I've shared this before, but I love sharing this story. Coach Stalin, of course, we have a 4th down and 1 in that game, and he kind of asked me, Martin, can you get it? And I'm like, yes. And he pretty much told me, he said, if you don't come back to the sideline. When we went for that 4th down against Miami to seal the game away, it was pretty much one of those guys, man, can you get it? Yes, coach, I can get it. Give me a chance. Man, if you can't, don't come back over here. So, and if you remember that play, I got hit right at the start, and did not have the first down initially, and had to spin off. But thanks, Chuck, for that. You got anything else before I let you go?
Well, looking at it, I'm leaving with this. Miami had that one moment with Kevin Williams running the punt return for a touchdown, but after that, it was curtains for them. Y'all just dominated them that night, and like I say, you're not a team with all swag, but hey, you all played your game. You were not favored, but came in and dominated, and the rest is history.
Yeah,
I'm gonna leave it at that.
pretty awesome history, and sometimes thanks, Chuck. Sometimes I don't.
All right, you all
Take
take
care.
care. All right.
I know sometimes and I don't appreciate what we did enough, because that was a really, really special night. And I think I've kind of went from that point where, okay, hey, let's move on, and all of that, to now I'm at that point, and I'm in my 50s, and it's like, you know what, you really, really need to rethink and appreciate just how special that night was, because you have to think, when that was the only national championship for 30 years. This is 30 years since we won that. Could you imagine? That's how long it was that we only won one national title at Alabama. Since I graduated, we would have won one. And you don't really think about it that way, that we kind of seal that. So that's a pretty special thing that, like I said, I don't think I always appreciate it quite as much, man. I had some unbelievable teammates, unbelievable guys I played with, some really, really dogs, and they were really, really special guys. I'm gonna tell the quick story, X, about I have a couple moments, I guess, where you could think about Georgia. One of my favorite moments is when Fluker looks to the sideline against Georgia in that SEC championship game, where Georgia left the ball just short on that pass out in the flat, and we went on to win that SEC championship. It was pretty special when Fluker looked to the sideline, and he didn't use he used some words I can't use on the air and wouldn't use, but said run the ball, and he used a few expletives in there. So I tell you what, I'll tell that story. We may just talk about it tomorrow instead of rushing that story. I'll tell my Georgia story, X, of getting to play linebacker. I mean, tight end against the Georgia Bulldogs. And what makes that special is, if my history is correct, it was the first time Alabama played a televised night game at Bryant-Denny. And we were 0-3 when we played that game. So kind of a special moment there. Come back on the other side. I hit a couple of things CJ Watson said, and then we'll transition into our Christian Moment of the Week with Scotty Hollins, presented and powered by Harvest Church, loving God, loving people.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, wrecks coming in. We got a 2059 eastbound at exit 71B. That's I-359. Another one, 2059 eastbound at the Mercedes exit number 89. Wet roads, slow down, be careful. Now get $5,000 off any in-stock Titan, Armada, or Murano. Go grab a deal at Townsend Nissan. I'm Captain Ray.
Here's what's trending on the Tuscaloosa thread.
Good Wednesday morning. The weather was rocking and rolling overnight, but the severe weather threat continues today through Friday. National Weather Service says expect the rest of the week to be stormy. There is a slight 2 in 5 risk for severe weather in the southern 2/3 of Tuscaloosa and Pickens County southward, and a marginal risk northward today. Tomorrow, an enhanced risk will mean a greater chance for tornadoes. Click TuscaloosaThread.com to keep up with all the updates. Don Hartwick, Town Square Media, Tuscaloosa.
I am a soul line dance instructor. I've had foot pain, leg pain, everything pain.
Rhonda lived to dance and danced to live.
So I was willing to dance through the pain.
And this is Rhonda's Good Feet story.
Since visiting the Good Feet store and wearing the arch supports, I definitely have not felt the pain. My energy has just drastically improved. Dancing is just a joy. I'm still actually in awe.
Do what you love with arch supports from the Good Feet store.
Come to the Good Feet store, improving the quality of people's lives 2 feet at a time in Tuscaloosa at 1800 McFarland Boulevard.
See America in your new Burton Campers RV. Be certain with Burton. Burton Campers at exit 231 on I-65 in Calera. Nobody sells RVs for less.
Work is a part of all of us. Working drives us to push beyond what we thought was imaginable and allows us to come together again for the things that really matter. That's why the Alabama Department of Labor and the Alabama Career Center system is here to help you discover bigger opportunities than ever before. Visit your local career center or alabamaworks.alabama.gov. Funding provided by the USDOL, PTA, and Federal WIOA, an Equal Opportunity Employer Program. Auxiliary aids and services available upon request. Brought to you by this station and the Alabama Broadcasters Association.
It's time for the Martin Houston Show. With the same hard-hitting, no-nonsense approach in which he played the game, Martin will take you inside the locker room, down on the field, and across the goal line with his in-depth analysis.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show. A great show. Today, talked to Bama baseball, Bama basketball. Started some conversation around what's your favorite play. Had several guys talking. I'm going to save my moment, but hey, we're going to just make this kind of a part of the summer routine. What's your favorite? And I may ask all types of questions. What's your favorite play? What's your favorite player? What's your favorite moment, etc.? What's your favorite game? If you could only watch one game in Alabama history, what game would it be? Things like that. We'll continue to hit that as we move throughout the summer. A couple guys had put some notes in, so I want to make sure on the chat side that we get them in on the conversation. CJ Watson talking to us this morning. Andrew Zal gave me a few of my favorite moments too. And CJ Watson is a big time Andrew Zal fan. Andrew Zal to McCatley against Auburn right before halftime made a Daniel Moore painting. I was on the field. He was a part of the $1 Million Band, and that play came right into the end zone right in front of him. And he said he was going nuts. Probably threw his instrument on the ground, dropped it or something. Probably did not complete his – no, I'm just kidding. Also, an underrated Zal play against Auburn his senior year. He ran a red zone play and got a rushing touchdown, which is great because he's not known as a mobile guy. He ran to the sideline, faked the option, but faked the toss out of bounds where there clearly was no one because it was out of bounds and it wasn't an option play. And the Auburn defender bit hard and dove out of bounds and Zal walked in. I'm laughing now. Dude was so underrated. And Blind Squirrel Sports says, Martin, I saw some highlights from the 91 game, but I didn't like them. Georgia had Garrison Hurst, Max Strong, and Eric Zaire in the Bulldog backfield. Bama shut them out. And I also had the unique pleasure of playing against Garrison Hurst over in Georgia, in Athens. The only time I played over there, a short yardage play where Garrison Hurst, he was in motion on a short yardage. It may have been fourth down. And our defense pointed at him versus making a tackle. They got the first down and went on to beat us. So not a good memory, good feeling there. But it's an interesting situation, circumstance there with that particular moment. And so, it's so much fun, over the years with this thing. We're going to see if we can get Scotty Hollins on. If we can't, we'll keep the conversation going. We'll look to keep the conversation going there. But both of those are great moments, great memories in terms of that. And through the years, there's been some iconic, like Georgia type moments that we've had here at Alabama. And I'm going to add to that. I have mine just as a personal moment, of course. Don't forget, 2nd and 26. And I think those moments against Georgia are only going to increase with the Kirby Saban battle, as one is beginning his career, the other one is on the downside of his career. Doesn't mean he's down, just on the downside. Hey, we got Scotty Hollins. It's now time to bring him in. It is the Harvest Church Christian Moment of the Week. So here's your Christian Moment of the Week, powered by Harvest Church, loving God, loving people, with Scotty Hollins, Executive Director of Blueprint Ministries. He's taking us through the Summer Through the Psalm series. Good morning, Scotty. Welcome into the program. We'll let you encourage your people how they can take their faith from the boardroom, the classroom, or into their chosen field of play, sir.
Good morning, Martin. Thank you so much. And I'll jump right in. Guys, we will continue the Summer Through the Psalm series, and we will continue today, Psalms 23. We got through about half of it last week, and we're going to pick up. Actually, we're going to look at one little piece of this passage. It's so good, Martin. I just wanted to focus on this one little piece. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. Why, Martin?
I think because
For you are with
is he
me.
with us?
He's with us, Martin. Did you know that? He's with us. And he says he will never leave us nor forsake us. He's also said he's the same today, yesterday, and forever. Hey, that sounds good, right? But to for us to say, man, God will never leave us nor forsake us. But one thing I've mentioned, and that's one of the driving forces for me going through the Psalms this summer, is the most important thing about you is what you believe about God, because that becomes the lens through which you see all of life, right? And so we wanted to look at how does that how does David's view of God, what he thinks about God, how does it impact his view of extremely difficult situations? And so as we look at this passage, it says, again, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. That sounds like a scary place, Martin.
Yeah.
The valley of the shadow of death. Goodness. He says, I will fear no evil. So I'm in one of the most difficult situations, seasons, the scariest places I could be in. And yet he says, I will fear no evil because thou art with me. And so I just wanted to, as we look at David's life, I can think of three specific times where he was going through something very difficult. I mean, he went through a lot of difficult things, but first time, he faced Goliath. That could be the valley of the shadow of death right there, having to face this giant Goliath that everybody else is afraid of. But guess what? He feared no evil. Why? Because God was with him. Another time that he could have been afraid is, the next 15 years, Martin, he is being chased down, hunted down by King Saul, because, as you know, once he killed Goliath, the ladies made a little soundtrack, and the soundtrack said, it was a little song. They said, Saul has killed his thousands, but David is tens of thousands. Saul got jealous and said,
That was their version of a TikTok. That was their version of TikTok.
That was in TikTok. And they're like, did you hear the TikTok?
And it went viral.
It went viral. And they said, David's better than me. And so all that to say, for the next 15 years, Saul is chasing David down, trying to kill him. Okay, so guess what? That's the valley of the shadow of death. But yet, he feared no evil. Here's how we know he feared no evil. Not to say he wasn't afraid at all, but saying he didn't give in to his fear. He didn't give up. He kept fighting. He had at least two opportunities in those 15 years, Martin, where he had an opportunity to kill Saul, and Saul would have never even known it. I mean, he snuck up on him twice, and David chooses not to kill him because he says, I will not touch the Lord's anointed. And here's the point. And I could give you one more, but I'll stop there. Listen to me. David says, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Understand this. David is saying he will walk through. He has walked through the valley of the shadow of death. All right? And here's what I'm telling you guys. Like, you will go through extremely difficult times. It's a guarantee. It's inevitable. Those difficult times are coming. But the question is, how do you respond? How do you walk through those? David is giving us, I think we should take a page from his book. He's given us the play. Here's the play. When adversity comes, that's the opponent. Here's the play for that. Fear no evil. Why? Because God is with you. And so I want to encourage you guys that when you go through difficult times, not if, Martin, but when you go through difficult times, let's take a page from David's book and fear no evil because God is with us. And he says he'll never leave us.
I love it. Valley, there's going to be some tough times. Valley. And then it says a shadow of death. And I love that picture there. It's a shadow. So the enemy, when you're down, he will make it appear that it's even worse than it is. That's what I always take from that. And then I love the fact that God said two things. I won't leave you and I won't forsake you. Because sometimes people be right there beside you, but they don't have your back. So he's not only is he going to be there, he's going to be for you. So tell them real quick where they can find you, Scotty, or tell them about the Tuscaloosa Champions of Character.
Absolutely, guys. Go to Tuscaloosa, the Tuscaloosa City Schools Facebook page. Look for our Champions of Character podcast. We've done 15 of those with students from the Tuscaloosa City Schools. Please find those videos, like, share, love, comment on those, and celebrate these kids who are champions of character.
All right. Hey, that's Scotty Hollins, Executive Director of Blueprint Ministries. He joins us every Wednesday to break down. We're going through the summer through the Psalm. Come back next week and be a part of it. Thanks, Scotty. Have a great one.
Thank you, brother.
Remember this, trust in the Lord always, lean not your own understanding. All your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths. Roll the tide out there, everybody. Thanks, Harvest Church, for loving God, loving people. Come check us out tonight at 6:00 for a great meal and a great word.
Let's celebrate. Thank you for listening to the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.